Do you have some time to talk now, Commander?
Of course. Have a seat.
We've played it pretty close to the book so far, but we're a long way from... I'm just saying, try to leave yourself a way out. I've seen what cutting corners can do, Commander.
That's not the appropriate way to address your commanding officer, Lieutenant.
I wasn't speaking to you as my commanding officer, ma'am. I don't want to send any bad signals. Just, working on what I've picked up. You tell me if I'm going too far.
We haven't had much off-duty time to talk. You have an issue with how
I'm not questioning any decision you've made, Shepard. Let me be clear. It's just my experience that once someone lets something slide, it tends to pick up speed. You get my meaning?
Talk to me, Caden. You got a little black rain.
I'll try to keep the deck dry. You know the records about the biotic training out on Jump Zero? They're all After first contact, Kinetics was set up to track Element Zero exposures and develop Once we had an embassy on the Citadel, Kinetics could bring in experts instead of taking it slow.
Is there some reason we couldn't learn it on our own?
They didn't know where to start. Hell, it took a couple of... Forget trying to get the kids to move stuff. They had trouble just helping them not... And their choice of teachers didn't help much.
I'm sure Kinetics did what they thought was best.
It wasn't best for us. They brought in an ex-military Turian named... To introduce himself, he liked to say, I was at the helm of the dreadnought that killed your father. When I told him my dad wasn't in the war, he'd retired to Vancouver. My family had an inland home that matured to new beachfront. Vernus had it in for me after that. He cut corners, pushed hard. I mean, you either came out a Superman or a wreck. A lot of kids snapped. A few died. The point of all of this, I guess, is that when you cut corners, it's not always obvious who pays for it.
So why are you telling me this? Is there something I can do to help you?
I'm 32, Shepard. You don't serve as long as I have without coming to terms with yourself. You also learn that if someone is special to you, you help them. Try to keep them from making mistakes.
Special, huh?
If I'm out of line, just say the word.
You're not out of line, Caden.
I get you, Shepard. I don't make a habit. Just think about what I said.
Just trying to get a sense of where the crew's
I've wasted enough of your time for now, Commander. We'll have time for...
We'll talk later,
I'd
Caden.
like that.
Never a dull moment with you, Shepard.
You ever go on any missions like
Saving
ours?
the galaxy from... But I've had my share of adventures.
Do you remember any that stick
A few.
out?
I remember... What an ass.
I guess even politicians have need of mercs from
Time to time. If it wasn't for politicians, I'd be out of work. They're always looking... He wanted me to erase his past. Huh. His old friend turned out to be
I can see where that might give you
What?
pause.
No. We met when we were both contracted to kill the same Turian. Neither of us wanted the other one. We spent more time fighting each other than
Which
trying.
one of you made it first?
It was a tie. I brought back his head. She got the rest of him. As far as I know, we both got paid. Anyway, when I told Alina about the diplomat's contract, she and I had a good laugh about it.
So what'd you do?
Well, I wasn't going to lose the contract. She chose some old Solarian space station overrun with mercs. She always was a bit of a softie.
What happened on the station?
What didn't happen? For 2 days, I chased her through that station. Used my entire... By the third day, the station was barely holding together. The mercs were dead or gone. She'd locked herself in the med labs. She was trying to patch herself up. Then just when I thought I had her, the station's core went critical. Barely made it back to my ship.
I assume the Asari commander...
I watched the station from a distance. I never saw her leave. And when that place blew, then So I headed back to the diplomat to give him the good news and collect my pay. But before I got halfway there, Alina sent me a message. Better luck next time. Now, I'm not superstitious, but if someone can survive that, well, they deserve to live.
What about the diplomat? He wanted her dead.
I told him the truth. Alina was still alive and I told him if he wanted to live, he'd need me around to protect him.
And he believed you.
He kept me on as his personal guard until he died. Natural causes. Easiest job I've ever had. A little boring, but credits are credits.
So long, Rex.
Shepard.
Commander? Gotta admire those colonials. That's about the worst place for a colony. Given the option, I'd get the hell out of Dodge. Sure. I was just watching some...
before I go, we saw Caden in a news vid about the Normandy. He's cute. Later, sis.
Let's pretend this never happened.
Are you interested in the lieutenant, Chief?
No, ma'am. And anyway, Scuttlebutt says he's already sweet on someone. What's up? You didn't come by to eavesdrop on family mail. Yeah, with Dad on duty so much, I had to help Mom raise them.
Did your father serve?
Yeah, took any... You know what? He was real proud when I made Chief. First thing he did was salute.
What about your mother?
You must know what military wives are like. Strong because they have to be, able to raise kids while Dad... She has a degree in planetary geology. She gave up her career to raise us, though. Yeah, I'm the oldest, then Abby. With 4 girls, Dad used to say he felt more outnumbered at home than on maneuvers.
After helping raise them,
Things were tense between Sarah and me for a while. Then we bonded.
Sounds like a story.
Sarah got herself a boyfriend who wanted to go faster than she. I didn't think he was a bad kid, just pushy. Lynn would send me these worried vid mails, and I'd tell her to relax.
Where were you when this was going on?
I was on active duty. They were on Amaterasu. At the time, I was assigned to Chernobog. Close enough to talk regularly, too far to make it back in an emergency. I couldn't afford a fast packet flight.
If he really liked her, he wouldn't be pushy.
Yeah. It was ugly. Damned if you do. Mike thought they'd go for a romantic walk in the woods, because he figured it was past time they did. She levered Mike face first into a tree and left. Didn't have a scratch on her. I took emergency leave and walked Sarah to school for a few days.
You traveled all the way home?
It was only a dozen light years, like a day's cruise. It's not like I was going to Earth or something. My last day out, Mike was waiting for us. Sarah had told her friends, so everyone at school knew what he did. I wanted to snap him in half, but Sarah gave me this look, this, let me handle it, I need to do this alone. She kept her cool, God bless her, as I swear, she just flowed around him.
That's unbelievable. Sarah must be...
Better. I'm more or less a straight up... When he swung, she helped him stop the bleeding and had me call an ambulance. Before they took him to the hospital, Mike touched Sarah's arm. I thought he was... But he hung his head, and she hugged him. The Williams women are a decisive bunch, Commander. We do things when we're ready. Not before, not after.
Your sister's something else. But you didn't mention your father at all.
Dad always wanted to serve in space, but he wanted us to have real ground under... I cannot rest from travel. I will drink life to the lees. All times I've enjoyed greatly, have suffered greatly, both with those that loved me, for always roaming with a hungry heart. Much have I seen and known, cities of men and manners, climates, councils, governments.
I never thought I'd hear you
Just because I can drill you between the eyes at 100 meters, just don't spread it around. Ulysses was my dad's favorite poem. Every time he shipped out, he recorded me reading it. He had a dozen versions when he retired.
Does he still like it?
I sure hope so. Dad passed on a few years back. He's...
You mean
dead on, Skipper. That's not a problem with you, is it? That I believe in God? I'm glad you're open-minded. I've met a few people who are really weirded out by my faith. Because I work in space. Hello, have you people looked out the window? How can you look at this galaxy and not believe in something? I should get back to my duties. Didn't mean to take up so much of your time. Ma'am?
Commander, I
don't have time for this.
Oh. Goodbye, Commander. Commander, what can I do for you?
Something bothering you?
It's Saren. I'm starting to wonder. He's always one step ahead of us, and he's got those damn Geth.
We're getting close, Garrus.
I wish I had your confidence. I know you're doing everything you can, and if there's anything else I can do to help, anything, just tell me what you want me to do, and I'll
I understand your concern, but we will find him.
Yes, ma'am. Thanks for hearing. Can I ask you something, Commander? Are you worried? I mean, they were really dragging their heels before. What if we find him, bring him back to the Citadel, and they refuse to act?
I get the feeling this isn't a question. Speak your mind,
Well,
Garrus.
maybe we shouldn't give them... In my opinion, Saren's too dangerous to be kept alive. Too much could happen. He could escape. If we find him, when we find him, I say we make sure we stop him, permanently.
If Saren won't listen to reason, if he forces my hand, I'll kill him in a heartbeat. But only if it's
Now, what's the point in keeping him alive? It just gives him an opportunity to escape. And what about the Geth? They might try to free him.
We know more about Saren's plans than anyone. But what do we really know? If we just kill him, we lose the chance to find out.
Yeah, I see your point. Do you really think there's more to know?
Maybe, maybe not. But it's not a chance.
Yes, ma'am.
Looking for supplies?
Let's see what you got.
You bet, Commander. Looking for supplies?
Let's see what you got.
You bet, Commander.
Oh, hello, Shepard.
I should go.
See you later. Hey, Shepard. Do you need something?
I want to know more about the
I
Geth.
doubt I can tell you anything you don't already know. It's been almost... All I know is the story of their origins. What they were when we created them, and how they turned on us.
Interesting.
The Geth were originally created to serve as an automated manual labor force. Initially, over time, we made small modifications to their programming to allow them to perform more varied and complex tasks.
How come the Council didn't step in?
This wasn't true AI research. We may have been skirting the bounds of the law, but we never did any. The changes were so insignificant, so gradual, that we were... But one thing we underestimated was the power of the neural network. A million Geth thinking simultaneously created an inherently unstable matrix.
So the Geth share...
Many of the Geth's logic systems were designed to work in concert with other nearby Geth. Basically, the more of them you have in a group, the smarter they are.
So there's some sort of...
No, nothing like that. They cannot share sensory data or information. Their programming... Each Geth maintains an individual awareness and identity. The neural network only operates on a process-based level. It's basically the synthetic equivalent of a subconscious. But when they're in close proximity, they can coordinate low-level functional processes, freeing up more capacity for original or independent...
That doesn't make any sense.
I'm probably oversimplifying. The Geth are incredibly advanced and complex creations. All you need... As we built more and more Geth, their effective intelligence became more sophisticated. One day, a Geth began to ask its Quarian overseer questions about the nature of its existence. As you can imagine, this caused a near...
What did you do?
It was inevitable the newly sentient Geth would rebel against their situation. We knew they would... A general order went out across all Quarian-controlled systems to permanently deactivate all Geth.
Hey, you can't blame them for fighting for their survival.
We had no other choice. The Geth were already on the verge of revolution. By acting quickly, we had a chance to end... The hope was that most of the Geth would still be little more than machines, incapable of organized resistance. The war was long and bloody. Millions upon millions of Quarians died at their hands. In the end, we feared the Geth would pursue us, but they never came beyond the Veil. Now we drift through space, exiled, searching for a way to reclaim what was once ours.
I should go.
See you later.
Commander, are you coming to check up on me?
You look much better. How are you feeling?
Dr. Chakwas assures me I am going to be fine. I was impressed with her knowledge of Asari physiology.
You're in good hands. Dr. Chakwas knows what she's doing.
I get the feeling you want to ask me something, Commander.
Tell me about yourself, Liara.
Me? I am afraid I am not very interesting, Commander. I spend most of my time on remote digs, unearthing mundane items buried in long-forgotten Prothean ruins.
Sounds dangerous. And lonely.
Sometimes I would run afoul of indigenous life forms or stumble across a small band of mercenaries or privateers, but I was always careful. Until the Geth followed me to Artemis Tau, I never found myself in any situation my biotics could not handle. As for the solitude, well, that is one aspect that most appealed to me. Sometimes I just need to get away from other people.
You don't like other people?
I suppose it comes from being a matriarch's daughter. People expected me to follow in Benezia. Matriarchs guide their followers into the future. They seek the truth of what is yet to come. Maybe that's why I became so interested in the secrets of the past. It sounds so foolish when I say it out loud. It sounds like I became an archaeologist simply to spite Benezia.
All children rebel against their parents. It's a natural part of growing up.
You share the wisdom of the matriarch, Shepard. That is exactly what Benezia said when I told her of my decision. But there was more to it than that. I felt drawn to the past. The Protheans were these wondrous, mysterious figures. I wanted to know everything about them. That is why I find you so fascinating. You were marked by the beacon on Eden Prime. You were touched by working Prothean technology.
Sounds like you want to dissect me in a lab somewhere.
What? No! I did not mean to insinuate. I never meant to offend you, Shepard. I only meant that you would be an interesting specimen for an in-depth study. No, that's even worse.
Calm down, Liara. I was only joking.
Joking? Oh, by the goddess, how could I be so dense? You must think I am a complete and utter fool. Now you know why I prefer to spend my time in the field with data disks and computers. I always seem to say something embarrassing around other people. Please, just pretend this conversation never happened.
Do you know why Benezia joined up with Saren?
Benezia was swept up in event, but I will remember and honor how she lived.
Are you gonna be okay?
You are kind to ask, Shepard. I do miss her, and I grieve for what happened to her. But I will not let my grief interfere with what
I'd like to know more about the Assp3n.
We were the first species to discover the Citadel. We were instrumental in forming the Council, and we always strive to be the voice. My people believe we are all part of a single galactic community. Each species although we seek to understand other species, it seems few of them seek to understand us. The galaxy is filled with rumors and misinformation about my people. Most of the inaccuracies are centered around our mating rituals. My species is monogendered. Male and female have no real meaning for us. We still require a partner to reproduce. This second parent, however, may be of any species and any gender.
I don't understand. Your species can mate with anyone?
Mating is not quite the proper term, not as you understand it. Physical contact may or may not be involved, but it is not an essential element of the union. The true connection is mental. Our physiology allows us to meld with other beings. We can touch the very depths of their minds. We explore the genetic memory of their species. We share the most basic elements of their individual and racial identities. We then pass these traits on to our daughters. It is how we learn to grow as a species and how we develop a greater understanding of other races.
What happens to your partner after the union?
Every relationship is different. Some unions are a single encounter with both parents parting ways afterwards. Others can be more long-term. Sometimes an Asari and her partner will stay together for many decades.
Do you know who Matriarch Benezia chose as her
She rarely spoke of her partner. Though I know my father, if you want to use that term, was another Asari.
I thought you always needed another species to serve as one of the parents.
Think about it, Shepard. If we were not able to mate with our own species, union with our own kind is no longer common, not for the purposes of reproduction. Most Asari believe it weakens our species. Asari daughters inherit racial traits from the father species. If both parents are Asari, then nothing has been gained, or so conventional wisdom would hold. I am what is sometimes called a pureblood, though no Asari would ever be cruel enough to say the word to my face. It is a great insult among my people. It is possible Benezia's partner was embarrassed by their union. She may have been too ashamed to publicly acknowledge me as her offspring.
Maybe she wanted to meet you but couldn't. Something could have happened to her. Maybe she passed away.
You might be right. I hope you are. But I have no way to know for sure. Benezia never spoke of her partner. Whatever happened, it caused her too much pain to dwell on it. Many Asari raise their children alone, particularly if the father species is short-lived. Often the partner will pass on long before the child reaches maturity.
You Asari live for 1,000 years.
Few sapient species live as long as my kind. We have learned to take a philosophical approach to our unions. We do not focus on the inevitable loss of our partners. Instead, we enjoy the time we spend with them. And even after they're gone, a part of them lives on in us. The union is a connection that transcends both time and space.
I should go.
Goodbye, Shepard.
Thank you.